We've only had 2 maps so far in the tournament.
True.
Hopefully get a little more diversity.
I didn't realize, but you're right. Yeah. But
Next map's gonna be Curious Minds.
look, I'm still happy after casting ANZ champs for the past 3 months and just seeing nothing but 2,000 atmospheres. Like,
yeah.
give me something else.
And sometimes they pick Pillars of Gold. If they're forced to.
Pills of gold?
Pillars of Gold? Pillars of Altaris? Look, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
They go into a map from 2019, you know?
God damn.
Why the hell not? Anyway, we're going to be kicking off this quarterfinals on, I almost said 2,000 atmospheres, Hardwire LE, where of course in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner, we have our red Zerg player who's going to be coming down from the land of Korea. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. He is Dark.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team NV. And following him the entire night, it is DongRaeGu.
How many times have I close? Because this marks more.
Oh. No, not like this. Oh, God. Okay. You're back.
No! Is this me?
It was.
Should I leave?
Are you okay right now? Are you good? There was a
I don't know.
There was a lag spike where you did lag out of Discord and the game froze for a moment, but the players did not pause and everything seems to be good now.
Is going down. No, it just spiked up. But it's going down. I'm just staring at the ping right now, I gotta be honest.
Yeah,
Hopefully it goes down.
For those wondering, Yaku sometimes has some issues, not just connecting to Asia though, because again, it's affecting your Discord as well. Maybe it's something about Sundays. I don't know.
It's that Lord, you know.
Yeah,
it's bad. But yeah, my connection for some reason has been pretty unstable today. But even before we started the stream, I was going a little roboto apparently. Fingers crossed. See your Ethernet cables crossed.
Yes. Cross your Ethernet cables for Yaku and hope that everything is okay for this series. Of course, if things get too bad, he will just leave, and I can always share the screen via Discord, so we can still continue to cast together. The goal here is to make sure that the players don't get hindered, they don't get that everything's all good.
Yep. Is this me? Oh no, I just panicked for no reason.
Oh my man, everything's fine, man. I know. Oh god. But yeah, so far this game, nothing really crazy has gone on. It's been pretty passive. Both players have just got their third bases up and running. No one's cutting any corners. It's pretty stock standard.
Which, yeah, it normally is a surprise to see a standard ZvZ, especially from the likes of Dark. But after last week's series against DRG, I think it's very safe to say that Dark does at least want to start his series as playing a little bit more passive, a little bit more macro.
Yeah, again, it's on DongRaeGu to make something happen, not so much on Dark, because Dark is the favorite. He's like, yo, I just gotta play out my game and I'll be fine, and this is what I'm talking about as +1 melee is started here for DRG.
Yep.
What's up, mate?
Game froze for me for a couple of seconds. Yeah, my ping is spiking back up.
Okay. Then I think you should probably just leave before things before things get too crazy here. God, I'll just work on sharing my screen and we'll be good. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Hopefully things do get ironed out for Yaku's internet throughout the night. Meanwhile, DRG is going across the map with the Lings, with the Banes. Banes are already being morphed in, and Dark sees this coming. Oh no! The first Bane Link is kind of baited out, only for a single Ling.
Yeah, thankfully Dark is at least able to evacuate his mineral line, but these Lings are gonna have a very good time trying to take out this hatchery.
Oh god. Exactly, but with these defensive Banelings, DRG, he backs off, but he already got some value, right? He got the Queen, a lot of lost mining time, and DRG, he is far ahead in the worker count.
Yeah, already, despite not, not dealing much damage, inadvertently, he is preventing Dark from getting much of an economy anyways.
Exactly, but meanwhile, Dark, now he's going for a counterattack. He's working on +1 carapace. Roaches are rushing across the map, and DRG, because that +1 melee, he was trying to go straight into a Spire. He doesn't have a lot of army right now. He throws down a Spine Forest, but is it too late?
Yeah, Spine Forest should be enough to keep his natural alive, but what about his third base, which is still very, very exposed?
Yeah, the third does get evacuated. DRG is trying to keep everything alive as best he can. He goes for a massive Link run by. There are no defensive Banelings at home, so DRG is dealing some damage. Meanwhile, the Roaches have to break through. They have to end the game.
He's gonna try, already he's able to snipe one of these spines before it finishes up. A couple of spine crawlers do finish though, but they're not quite in range of the Roaches yet.
Oh god, exactly. All the Banelings get focused down. The Roaches are able to get out of range of these spines and deal a little bit more damage. But other than that, DRG, he's held.
Whoa.
Yeah, the Lings, they come back home. These are +1 melee Lings, by the way. They get us around. They're going to clean up all these Roaches.
Yeah, Dark kind of forced to morph his low health Roaches into Ravagers and as a way to keep them alive, but here come the reinforcing Lings from Dark. He's still got plenty of army supply ahead of DRG. He just needs to make sure he can deal with those Lings and these spine crawlers. Did the Roaches get taken out? I believe they did.
Yeah, all the Roaches got taken out. The Banelings try to bust on through, but the wall is a wall. Sure, DRG, he loses the third base, but doesn't matter. The worker counts are even, and he survived long enough for the mutas to come out.
And Dark really does have a lot in the way of anti-air. He is buying a little bit of time, though. He's getting a couple more Queens out as these mutas get distracted with Overlords. Takes 4 crawlers as well. Not too many mutas at the moment for DongRaeGu.
Yeah, I feel like it's maybe a little bit of a mistake that the mutas are wasting time with Overlords, because it's not like it's not like Dark is going to supply blocked anyway. He just lost a bunch of Roaches. Like the Roaches were taking up all that supply. So yeah, DRG, he has enough time to get more Queens and get these spores up and running.
And just like that, Dark, I mean, he has the defenses he needs out. DRG has made a couple of more mutas, so there is a possibility for him to dip in, kill a couple of drones and dip out, but we'll see.
Oh god, exactly. Oh! As the painting does go off, decent connection here, but the Lings here are so important for Dark. He needs to try and deny these bases, try and get us around, and ooh, it looks like he will not. The mutas, they do come back, and they do protect the third and the fourth.
They do come back, but that does mean that Dark is able to actually drone up a little bit more back at home. Does he have a Hydra then?
He does. He threw one down. We do have an Infestation Pit as well. So Hydras and Infestors are going to be the answer here for Dark. And they are on the way. These mutas, though, their goal right now, pick up whatever they can. A stray Queen here and there. Deny the fourth, more importantly.
Yeah, these mutas are just really making sure that DRG has absolute map control while Dark has zero answer to them. At least zero answer to them to fight them out in the open. Again, defensively, Dark is still looking pretty. But he needs to be able to break out of his 3 bases and grab a 4th base very, very soon.
Yeah, exactly. He throws down a 4th. This is scattered by DRG, but DRG, he comes back to deal with some more of these Overlords. What I will say is that DRG, he still has the worker advantage and the base advantage, but he needs something else. Because the Infestors and Hydras are going to do so well against the Ling Bane Muta, especially because... Oh no, never mind. DRG, he got Bane speed. Okay, he's going to try and go toe-to-toe with this.
Aha. Alrighty then, if you can connect the Banelings on the Hydralisk, then the rest of the army should drop like flies, but that is a massive if.
Yeah, like, fungal complicates things so much. Like,
It really does.
yeah, I just don't know if DRG can really pull this off. Like, if he catches the infestors unawares and unprotected and undefended, maybe. But if he's not careful,
that's a lot of uns.
Yeah, exactly.
And he needs all of them to be, yeah, and he just needs all of them to happen in order for DRG to really be able to take the fight. I will say that Dark's Infestors, they don't look like they have a lot of energy on them at the moment.
Oh god, no they do not, but the Ling Bane rushes on forward. The Banelings do connect. We have a couple of fungals on these Lings, but god, damage is still being done. The Lings do get into the main base. 6 drones get picked up.
Alright, nice little bit of free damage before this fight even starts.
Exactly.
DRG securing a very healthy drone lead here.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced by this. Like, I just don't know if DRG can never take a head-on engagement, but to be fair, he's not going for it. He dives straight into the main base. Lings rush in as well. The Infestors were completely out of position.
Yeah, maybe if those Weirds got fungal down, Dark, sorry, would have been able to keep his drones alive, but not like that.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Banelings were trying to go for a run by, but there was a clutch fungal there from Dark, keeping his mineral lines alive. DRG, he's doing a decent job at harassing, but he hasn't found the damage that he needs to. And again, he's dancing with fire right now, playing with fire. If he's not too careful, this is what happens. He gets fungaled.
It's fungaled, but it doesn't look like there's much anti-air here.
They were the Queens.
I can see.
The Queens are all chilling at the 4th base. Finally, they respond, but they need to be here in the main.
Oh, there's still a lot of fungals available here for Dark. He's just chain fungling down these mutas. I think 1 or 2 of them went down in all that, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, in the end, I mean, 10 mutas have died this game, which is okay, but the majority of the mutas survived. We have a massive Roach counterattack. He can focus down the hatchery, maybe a second, but this will eventually all fall to these mutas.
Eventually. As long as Dark is able to deal crippling amounts of damage, or not even crippling amounts of damage, just enough damage to equalize, that he should be fine. DRG himself getting prepared for a counterattack.
Yeah, I mean, killing the base was pretty great for Dark. He didn't get a lot of workers, to be fair, but the base itself was more than worth it here. Especially because Dark had a lot of dead supply in these roaches. Now he's replacing them with, to be fair, more roaches, but also this time Hydras.
And plenty of them. 1 good fungal with a good follow-up of Hydras is all Dark needs to deal with these mutas. Once they get taken out, what is DRG really going to be able to do? Well, he did invest in his Ling Bane early on, but do you really want Ling Bane against Roach Hydra?
That's the thing, like, I would have loved, like, going into Hive and going into Ultras earlier, like, maybe a minute ago. The problem with Ultras now is that we have a Lurker Den on the way, and it's so difficult to break Lurker siege lines with Ultras. Bit of a bailing run by, decent splits though here by Dark, only loses 8 of those drones.
Yeah, still an alright amount of damage here for DongRaeGu, but could have been a lot worse here.
It really could have, and this Ling Bane from DRG is just not scaling well at all. Once the Lurkers come in, then Dark can push out across the map, because Ling Bane is not going to get anywhere near those Hydras.
Yeah, you thought Ling Bane was tough to take out Roach Hydra with. Well, throw a couple of Lurkers in the mix. And then it really gets difficult to deal with the Zerg army. Really good fungal.
Yeah, the chain fungals, a lot of the mutas get picked off at the same time. There was a bit of a bailing run by, but it doesn't really get too much damage at all. The hatchery stands strong. Oh, never mind. Some more bailings connect. 20 drones went down.
That is the damage DRG has been looking for throughout this entire game, but is it too little too late?
What's the hatch? Oh.
He does get the hatch.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at an army supply.
I know. Like, at the same time, DRG, he dives on forward. Oh, I don't know if this is the best move. He does focus down some of these Hydras, but again, he's just being fungled to death. Oh, God.
Yeah, some of these Mutalisks are dying without even the Hydras getting in position. That's just how many times they've been fungled.
And speaking of Hydras, they're going across the map. That's why they're not at home, because there's not much left here for DRG. He spent so much supply harassing, and to be fair, he got 2 hatcheries. Like, he got 19, he got like 40 drones. He dealt a lot of damage, but what does he have left to defend?
Mutas.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Does he have enough mutas to overwhelm the Hydras? Yo.
Well, he's starting to target them down. Hydralists are taking a little bit of splash damage. The rest of the Muta reinforcements do get in position, and Dark has just lost his offensive anti-air.
Oh, that he is, but he gets another hatchery. Lurkers are across the map. Investors as well, but they don't have that much energy. They have enough energy for maybe 2 fungals. Goes for Microbial Shroud instead.
Huh.
Uh-oh. Mate, he's gonna lose everything. Everything's gonna go down.
Everything is gonna go down, and I'm not convinced Dark has enough to remake them.
Yeah. Nothing shoots up.
Nothing shoots up.
There were not enough Hydras. Like, he made, what, like 10 or 12 to push out across the map, and they all got focused down. This is so scrappy here. Both players have lost both of their mining bases. We have 2 base versus 2 base right now.
But now we're getting Vipers out for Dark.
Yeah. Like, it's all about the spellcasters at the end of the day. Like, Queens would transfuse Vipers for parasitic bombs.
I'm holding my breath in anticipation here. Dark trying to remake a couple of his bases. DRG, I think that's hatchery, right? Yeah, that's hatchery.
Yeah. We do have a hatchery on the way. Bit of a roach run by. What is important to say is that I was wondering, like, yo, where were the Hydras? Dark is remaking the Hydra Den. It looks like it was killed at the 3rd base. That is why there were no more Hydras coming out here for Dark, because the tech was taken down. So that was a very nice move there from DRG. He did stifle that kind of production. And because of that, this game is still up in the air. I still want to give the edge to Dark just because of his spellcasters. If he controls well, he should be able to deal with the mutas. But if not, then DRG can take this.
Definitely. Also getting a little bit of a better economy, but again, Dark doesn't really have a good offensive army at the moment. He's relying a lot on DRG moving into him and making one false step.
Yeah, exactly. So you could also argue there may be too many Vipers here. Instead of so many Vipers, get rid of like 2 or 3 of them and get a couple of Infestors for like the wombo combo, the Fungal and the Parabomb. Right now, he's just relying on Parasitic Bombs.
Which, it's definitely an odd choice.
Oh, God.
A couple of Parabombs do land. No, so many Parabombs land. And even with the split. Exactly. Oh, DongRaeGu loses almost his entire Mutaflock. And what's remaining is in the red of health. GG is called. Dark takes game number 1. I hit S when I didn't need to.
GG, well played, mate. Who needs to fungal when you can just parasitic bomb every single muta?
Once again, questioning Dark is the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, you could argue maybe DRG dove too far in, but at the same time, he never got to see the entire force of Vipers. He didn't know exactly how many there were until they were in his face.
And in fairness, who makes 7 Vipers the way Dark did?
Jim, mate, you called it. You're like
told you.
You're like, mate, he's the Korean Jim, mate. It all makes sense.
There we go.
I can actually control the Vipers
together.
That's the difference.
Whoa!
Oh, God.
It is true, though. Dark can't control his Vipers very well.
Alright, here we go. We're diving into game number 2. As we dive in, massive shout out to Maximo in the chat, Tiraduga, and Cusco Kira in the chat as well. Sí.
Tortuga!
That's not what he said.
What?
He said... God damn it, Yaku. I love it. I love your version. Tortuga.
It's Beautiful, mate. As we finally get a different map here, it is going to be Glittering Ashes LE. We're in the top right-hand corner map, swinging all the way to the top right-hand corner. We have a red player coming down from the land of Korea. He's currently up 1-0 in his best-of-3 series. He'll need un momento por favor, like a tortuga, in order to make it to the semifinals. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. DPG, he is Dark.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player currently down in this series, but fighting his heart out in the previous game. Representing Team NV, it is DongRaeGu.
Or Dr. G, as some people call him.
Does anyone call him that? Does what?
They should. It would be funny.
Dr. G?
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my god, that would make so much sense. Were you watching the finals last night for ANZ Champs?
I was, yeah.
Did you see at the very end fucking Piglet pulled the GGE mini on us?
Getting beat by this one player, Mill for GG, on the ladder.
Oh god, this one guy. I keep beating this one guy. I know who he is. His name is Dr. G. on the ladder. God damn it, Piglet. God damn it. For those wondering, we did clip a moment from ANZ Champs last night. I believe it's on Reddit as well, when Piglet was talking about who inspired him or what inspired his play and where he got it from. And he explained to us that he got it from some random Korean and NA.
Random.
Yeah, a random like ladder hero that he doesn't know who it is. And we're like, tell us the username. And he's like, MIL like Mil like FORGG, and then both me and Pig cracked up because we knew exactly who he was talking about. We're like, mate, that's 4GG, and he's like, what?
So make my head. Kids these days.
He's like, what? I've heard of him. I thought he would be better.
It's like, I know of 4GG.
Shaking my head.
Kids these days, am I right?
Oh god, I he's older than you, Yaku. What are you talking? God damn. Yeah, we did have a GGE mini moment there. But speaking of those moments,
19.
Here we are. Yeah, game number 2, 19. There you go. So far, kind of mirrored builds.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, pretty much mirror builds in the sense that they're both basically going for the same thing, but the order is a little different. Dark prioritizing his Banelings first, DongRaeGu prioritizing Carapace first. They're definitely taking a more defensive stance this game.
Yep, both players going for their Carapace, so no +1 melee, which means DRG will not be going for Mutas again. And I don't blame him, right? It didn't really work for him in game number 1. He really struggled to find damage. He did towards the end, you know, with his constant run-bys. But I guess he's like, you know what? I tried that in game 1. I'm not going to try it again. We'll go for something else, something a little bit more standard, and that is roaches.
We're going to get a little bit of a roach war here on Glittering Ashes, which definitely makes a lot of sense to me. It's a very wide open map, plenty of positions for either player to try to get a leg up and try to get some kind of concaves going. Yeah,
meanwhile, there's a bit of a Ling run by, and unfortunately, DRG was being greedy earlier, so he delayed his Baneling production, so 2 turns do go down. Up.
And Dark is just ramping up the pressure. DongRaeGu has plenty of Banelings out right now. Dark needs to be so careful.
God, that he does. DRG so far has pushed away the army, but these 2 Banelings for Dark are going to finish up.
They're going to finish up, and they are definitely going to threaten the Banelings of DongRaeGu. Roaches are out now, though, for both players, but of course with the defensive advantage, or the defender's advantage, DongRaeGu is going to be a little bit more threatening with them.
Good that he is. At the same time, we do see a bit of a Ling run by here from DRG, but there are roaches here at home to defend. Both players have survived the Ling Bane stage of the game and are getting into their roaches. Equal upgrades, but DRG goes for a much faster lair.
That he does, so potentially mute us again?
Oh god. I mean, we'll see. I would assume that he wants to go into roach speed, especially because there we go, +1 range is on the way. So DRG, both players are still very much so committed to these roaches. And with that, DRG can maybe try and hit a timing with roach speed, since it's going to be faster to go out across the map. Maybe.
Potentially. Just keeping our eyes peeled on the upgrades.
Yeah, it's gonna be a slight advantage that he could have. Or like you said, he could go for a Spire for like, not a commitment, but like a handful of mutants to like try and harass and get into a mineral line.
Yeah, honestly, the mutant harass from DongRaeGu has been really, really good in game number 1. Even though he was getting fungled more than a handful of times, he was still getting drone damage, he was still pulling drones off of the mineral lines, but this time it's not gonna be a Spire, instead gonna be Dropper Lords coming out from him.
Yeah. Do you have Dropper Lords on? Which is... we'll see how they work here. There we go, they're on the way. Baneling Drop's gonna be coming out from DRG. And of course he has Numas Carapace, he has Overlord Speed.
Yo, I haven't seen this in a while. Let's see if it works out for him. Honestly, there's not a lot of anti-air here for Dark. And even though he is getting spores now, the Banelings are just going to drop so instantaneously that they're basically guaranteed to get damage done somewhere.
Exactly. So we'll see what the reactions are going to be like for Dark to see if he can avoid these Baneling drops. Oh boy, as he's working on his own drops. Let's
How are they
go.
both so mirrored?
Yeah, they're both just going for the same style. I love it. Who's going to execute better though?
That is the question, and Dark does scout the drop loads coming in from DRG. DRG does as well, in fairness.
Yeah, they do see each other, but again, it's all about the responses. They're just still amassing nothing but roaches and ravagers here from either side. I'm gonna try my best to keep an eye on all of these Dropper Lords because they're all going across the map, and they're all gonna be hitting, and I hope I don't miss too much.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot going on very, very soon. DRG even getting that Nidus Worm. He doesn't want this game to go on for too much longer. Dark and DRG both moving in.
Yeah, they're queued up. We do have one trying to dive in. The Banelings do get dropped, but oh, can he find damage? Looks like he will.
Yeah, Dark gets a handful of...
He
gets a handful of drones here on DongRaeGu's side of the map, whereas DongRaeGu gets way more of Dark's. That's 11 drones down for Dark. 4 of them down for DongRaeGu.
Exactly. There were 4 Dropper Lords all hitting at the same time. And DRG was pretty prepared for it, all things considered. He had roaches in the main base, he had spores positioned, as well as queens. At the same time, he tried to go for a bit of a roach push, but it was a little bit miscoordinated, and he didn't really quite push in correctly. Now he's going to try again, but Dark, now he's ready for it.
Yeah, already breaking in and trying to catch his army out of position. Nidus Worm is prevented from going up, so reinforcements are going to take a very long time to get across the map here for DRG.
Yeah, exactly. We do see DRG trying to push on forward, and so far he does find a little bit of headroom, but again, the reinforcements from Dark are going to be enough to push him down. We do have a Nidus on the way. That's where the reinforcements are.
I looked for a second that Dark was losing ground, but he has been controlling this extremely well. But as you were saying, here come more reinforcements for Dark, or for DongRaeGu, sorry. Dark actually sacrifices a couple of his roaches to take out that Nidus Worm, and he does get it, but is it worth it in the end? Because the rest of these roaches for DongRaeGu are starting to break through, but they are also very much thinning out. Dark, he just keeps getting more and more defensive reinforcements. What about this Nidus Worm in his main, though?
Exactly, the main army is going to get cleaned up, but the Nidus in the main does go unscattered. We have the roaches in the main. Yo, the tech is exposed. He could go for the workers, but we do have the hydrogen and the infestation pit. Dark, he's trying to respond, and unfortunately there's not much of an army to really counterattack at the same time. Nidus gets cleaned up, so will all the roaches, but he gets the hydrogen.
Already some worthwhile damage here for DongRaeGu. Sure he wanted to get more, but he at least gets enough to put himself ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he didn't have that tech himself. He didn't have, he didn't have it currently set up to go into high, just to go into lurkers. So these roaches have done so much. Borrowed roaches are trying to be annoying, but they will be cleaned up in the end. There are a couple hidden here in the main base. Meanwhile, another Nidus finishes up, and DRG, he's hitting the 4th base, and it's low from earlier.
And it's so Queen to transfuse. Either that 4th base will be taken out. Dark's reinforcements, unfortunately, just a little too late.
Yeah,
position.
Exactly. I feel like maybe DRG is overextending here. He gets the base and he wants more, but with these reinforcements, DRG is going to be forced all the way back. But he can kind of afford these losses. Like, he himself, his economy has been left unhindered. Dark has been struggling to defend this entire time. He hasn't been able to put any pressure on DRG.
Yeah, his forces are a little bit more expendable than Dark's.
God, exactly. Meanwhile, the Niduses, they don't stop. This is why DRG has been able to keep the pressure up, and why Dark just hasn't been able to move out.
Yeah, even now you can kind of see he was debating a little bit whether to go for a counterattack, and in the end decides not to.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the Nidus gets cleaned up. We have another Overseer in the main base, but we have plenty of roaches here to help deal with any kind of Nidus just in case one comes out. And instead, DRG just rallies across the map. Does he have enough, though, to really pose a threat? I don't think he does, but DRG is getting close to maxing out.
He is, but what's worrisome for me here, Light, is that DRG is close to maxing out, but he's not teching up beyond this. He is going pretty much pure roach. And DRG supplies are pretty comparable right now, all things considered. If Dark is able to hold, he will be able to get the tech advantage and potentially go for a counterattack after this.
Yeah, I'm worried as well, right? Like, DRG is trying to end the game with pure roach, and the longer this goes on, the worse it is for DRG, because you said it, Lurker Den is now on the way. The Hydra Den was remade, and Dark will eventually get that, and it's so difficult to deal with Lurkers when you just have pure Roach Ravager.
Definitely is. But these roaches in the front line are distracting Dark's roaches. I stand corrected. I really thought that Nidus Swarm in the main was going to pop up.
Yeah, in the end it did not. Meanwhile, DRG is trying to push on forward, but this is a bit of a distraction because at the same time he's hitting the 4th base, trying to take it out. But again, Dark is all over the place. He's able to defend every single one of his bases at once.
I have no idea how he splits up his army so well, so perfectly. He knows just the right amount of forces he needs to send to the eastern front. And then he focuses his attention on the western front.
Yeah, and you know what? He focuses down the Nidus. These roaches are trapped. We have Hydras coming out. Lurkers are on the way as well. Dark has made it to the Lurker stage. DRG is trying to catch up. He's trying to get his own Lurkers out.
Yeah, but he's always going to be behind at this point. He is getting a lot of Hydras, though, in fairness. And those could still be tough to deal with, even if you are the player with Lurkers.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, Like, what I will say is that DRG, despite, still having the tech disadvantage, he is doing a really good job at keeping Dark at home, so he is free to tech up like this, work on all the Hydras, work on all the Lurkers, even getting some Vipers out.
And that's definitely the big equalizer when both players are going for Roach Ravager, Lurker, Hydra.
Yeah, and I think I've said this before, because I'm getting some deja vu from last week. But Dark is neglecting his Vipers, which is a little bit surprising. Despite getting the much faster Hive, he's working on all the upgrades as well. Like, this is the big thing. Dark is far ahead when it comes to the upgrades, but no Vipers.
Yeah, apparently he only gets Vipers for anti-air.
I guess so. As Dark, his 5th base is killed, DRG, he's free to expand and take another base as well.
And while all that is going on, DRG's just setting up for a massive frontal assault. He's already maxed out. Dark has to catch up a little bit in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, that he does finally for the first time in a long time. Dark goes for a counterattack, and he forces DRG to respond and come back home. The roaches, they'll get a couple of queens, but they're having a hard time breaking into the natural base. At the same time, DRG is pushing in, but this is scary because DRG, he has Roach Hydra. Where are the Lurkers?
Yeah, it's somewhere around here. fairness though, this is about half of DRG's army that just got sent all the way back to the other side of the map. Dark buys himself a little bit more time. He borrows a lot of his lurkers.
Yeah, he's gonna try and push on forward. He does yoink one of the lurkers, but he also takes a lot of volleys there, and DRG cannot break this position, not without his own lurkers, and finally, they are being morphed in.
Yeah. He just needed to free up a little supply, so...
Speaking of freeing up supply, DRG is trying to go for a counterattack, but again, lurkers are all over the place. Like, it's so difficult to break a defensive lurker player like this. And how do you be aggressive as a lurker player? You get your own Nidus.
Yeah, go across the map. Ease, and Dark does have a little bit of vision. There's an overseer in position, but I feel like those lurkers should be able to deal with that. Really good blinding clouds, taking out just about most, if not all, of those lurkers.
Yeah, beautiful blinding clouds, but oh my god, a little bit of miscontrol. The Viper does end up does get taken out by these spores, and DRG doesn't have a lot of supply here. He's really struggling to make headway, and yo, these are expensive losses. The lurkers, they get cleaned up.
And just look at the supply left, like, honestly.
Oh my god!
That, I did not expect DRG to take that many casualties. But yeah, that was just, keep in mind, that was just half of DongRaeGu's army. The other half was also losing to the Lurkers of Dark.
Exactly. DRG not like this. He was doing such a good job at teching back up and getting his own Lurkers and getting his own Vipers, but losing so much so quickly. Now he's lost his hatchery. Like, Dark, he is so quick to respond and so quick to counterattack.
So patient throughout the majority of this game, just waiting for the right moment to strike. And once he had it, he did not let it go. GG, Dark takes that series 2-0. We'll move on to the semifinals. Heart goes out here, like, to DongRaeGu. He looks so convincing in the first two rounds against his Protoss opponents, but yeah, it's kind of a repeat of what happened last week in ESL Open Cup Asia. DongRaeGu was really good in his ZvT and his ZvP. Unfortunately, the ZvZ, especially against Dark, there's a little to be desired.
Yeah, like, it did look like he had a plan A, and when that didn't work, he kept trying to make plan A work. And then eventually he was forced to transition, right? Like, we saw how aggressive he was with his Roaches and Niduses, and how he just kept going back and forth and taking out bases and taking out some tech and taking out mineral lines. And when you deal damage like this, you need to be quick to either
follow it up.
Yeah, follow it up with like a mass expand or tech, right? Like, do all this stuff to get ahead. But he was kind of stuck with Roach Nidus for a little bit too long there, when he should have taken advantage of the situation to get into lurkers faster than his opponent. But somehow, some way, like, Dark was still able to get there faster, you know? Yeah. Like, Dark knew what he needed to do. Like, he's got the experience. Like, he's the top tier player, and yeah, DRG was, it looked like he was hoping he could break Dark before that happened.
Definitely did. Might also go back to the late game quite a bit, because DongRaeGu usually not a player who's as comfortable in the late game compared to some of these other Korean Zerg players. That's why that's kind of why we saw him trying to break Dark so many times with his Roach Ravager, and why he wanted to end games early against his Protoss opponents even.
Yeah. I want to say the same thing happened in game one when DRG went for the Mass Muta Ling Vane, and he was harassing all over the place and dealing damage, and eventually, like, you have to go into Hive, you have to go into either Ultras or transition into Lurkers yourself, and that just wasn't happening for DRG either. So again, it looks like he is comfortable in more of that kind of mid-game scenario, and yeah, in the end he couldn't pull it off.
Not quite. And with that, once again, GG's to Dark. He is moving on to the semifinals, where he will face either Zaun or Special.